Triple M's Rush Hour podcast is brought to you by Fox Footy, only on Foxtel.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I see assholes like you every day.
James Brayshaw.
Every day.
Billy Brownless.
Is this more on number one?
It's all about blow up my bomb.
Put more on number two on the phone.
Wind up what's been an unbelievably successful broadcasting year.
What the hell is wrong with you two?
Everybody's working overtime.
Listening to the Rush Hour.
TripleM.
I feel good.
Oh, it feels like we only just left, Bill.
We have.
Jesus. Oh, I'll tell you what, we're back.
Jim.
We're back to Rush Hour, and don't worry, we're back with a very large bang attached to us, Willis, because next we speak to the outgoing CEO of the AFL, Andrew Demetriou.
That was nice of him to resign today, Jim.
It was just to give us a nice impetus into our show for the year, Willis, and I just get the feeling he might be up for a chat.
And a bit of fun, I reckon. So we'll ask him some interesting questions.
Yep.
The bake, Jimmy?
Oh, now,
Oh.
you rang me
Yes,
a while ago,
please,
a
yes.
fair while ago, and said, Jim, I've got a bake written. I said, Bill, we're not back on until March. He said, I don't care, it's written and it's ready. So that is coming up.
Plenty to bake.
Oh.
Winter Olympics.
Oh.
Chumpy. Come on, Chump. Roy and HG.
Oh, no.
Chappelle. Jim, I've got a list of them.
Got a list as long as your arm. Hey, we're also going to have Mark Rasciuto in studio. Looking forward to the Roo chatting to us about the NAB Challenge and where everything sits with regard to AFL footy. And Damien Barrett a little later on to talk about the impact of the departure of Andrew Demetriou, what it means, who's going to be his successor, etc., etc. Hey, very nice to see you, Willis.
And lovely to see you, Jimmy boy. Lovely to talk to the listeners again. And great to see you, Hig.
Mind if I pull the underwear out of my crack? Man's got to go comfortable.
Oh, there you go. He hasn't missed. Bang, straight up. Great to see you, Hig. You've
Good to see you too.
dropped a bit.
There's a pot calling the
I was
kettle
about to
black
say,
for crying
Bill's
out
broken
loud.
at your joint,
What
Bill.
paddock have you been
Actually, I
in?
went to the Wang Cup yesterday and had to put on the suit.
Yes, and?
And the top button doesn't do up, Jim.
How was the clasp around the old waist there,
Oh,
Willis?
crikey. And I had to miss a couple. Luckily I had a belt because you don't have to do them up at the pant.
Yes.
You just do the belt up,
And
Jim.
just leave the button open. Oh, come on, Bill. You're better than that.
What have you been doing, my friend? Because I hear you on the cricket. I tell you what,
Yes.
you're actually going all right. You're going to take over the cricket. You're the new Richie.
I wouldn't have thought so,
I
Bill.
think
But
so.
very nice to be doing it and a very successful summer and giving the Yarpies a nice smashing as we speak,
yes.
which is what we absolutely love. We don't want any more rain. We just want to wipe them nicely for a
Yep.
2-1 result, Willis, and back to the number one team in the world. So I'm liking all of that.
Exactly.
We got together recently to film the promo for the footy show. I'm glad I was there.
Are you on the ad?
I've had about 20 people say to me, are you actually on the footy show this year? I'm like, what are you talking about?
And without a
I've
lie,
seen the promo ad and you appear on it for 0.01 of a second.
I wish I wasn't on it, to be honest, when I look at it. How long did that take, Jim? That 30-second ad?
Honestly, we got there at 7:15
Yeah,
and
AM.
left at 9:45 that night.
Exactly.
And there we are.
Well, we get the big bucks, Hig.
I know
didn't.
1 of a second worth out of that. But anyway,
Doing
Willis,
1 day of work in 4 months.
hey, don't worry, Hig. That we were stretched doing it. So we're looking forward to the year. We're looking forward to it enormously, Willis.
Exactly. Great to be back. Great. I had some rush hour lifts. Don't you run into them everywhere?
Everywhere.
And what do they want to hear?
Get us on.
The joke. And guess what? I've got none.
Bill, you must have spent the 5 months, ensuing 5 months,
It's only 4.
getting some ready.
No, and we'll work through one and we'll have a beauty at the end of the show. But the big
Well,
show.
Willis, at the end of today,
Yeah.
I've got a prediction.
What?
I'm going to be so knackered I might have to have a spell tomorrow. Over to Adelaide for the commission meeting. Gary's coming in.
You're not on tomorrow.
Jack Zeebel's on
You're
tomorrow.
back for a day. You're not on
I
tomorrow.
might have to have a spell.
What is
Andrew Demetriou, head of the AFL, to join us next on the Rush Hour. We do have the main man on the line today. Announced, Bill, that he will be resigning as the CEO of the AFL at the end of the season.
Yep.
After an amazing stint. So, Andrew Demetriou, welcome to the Rush Hour.
Thanks, James. G'day, Billy.
G'day, mate. And congratulations off the top. 10 years is a long time in that position. How are you feeling right now? Happy, relieved, sad? What's the emotion?
Actually, I'm a bit relieved. I mean, I knew this day was coming, and, you know, once I told the Commission officially on February the 17th, I was hoping in hell that it would hold till today, and a couple of other people I told confidentially, so it did, and I'm glad that it's over. I was pleased that my family could be there along with me today. But all in all, I'm relieved.
Well, that is a miracle in itself, Andrew,
Yeah.
that something held in football, because that doesn't happen very often. Hey, I listened to it on online, and you got a bit emotional when you spoke about the game and then when you spoke about your family.
Yes.
Well, look, I think you know, James, I've always put family first, and my 4 children were all born during my stint as CEO. 2 days after I started the job, my twins were born, so I met my wife at the AFL, so I'm really indebted to the AFL. I mean, I owe the AFL a lot more than it owes me, to be honest, and to have my 4 children there today with my father was emotional, but I was so pleased they could be there, and of course, all of us love the game. Those involved in the game love the game. The people that work in the game, you meet great people. I've always said that. It's a great big family. They've always been supportive, and I'm just been so grateful, to be honest.
All right, time again is always an interesting question. Is there something you look back on in, as Bill said, what has been an unbelievably successful stint as head of the AFL? Is there something you look back on that you think, you know what, if I had my time again, I'd actually do that differently?
Look, I was asked that today, and probably the only thing that stands out that was of real significance was a couple of years ago around this whole issue of the sports science, the sort of reports that Adrian Anderson was getting and were coming across my desk, and the chats that we'd had, and just stuff that didn't sit comfortably. And you know, whether we should have approached it a bit differently or been more proactive, I don't know. Other than it just didn't sit easy with me, and it didn't sit easy with a lot of people at the AFL. So that's probably the one thing I sort of look back and say to myself, is there something we could have done differently? But to be honest, I'm not quite sure whether there was. We had an integrity unit in place. It tries to pick up as much as it can, but as I said at the press conference today, you've got penalties in place for speeding fines, for drink driving. People still drink drive, and that's probably the only one thing I look back on.
And just clearing it up, Andrew, this announcement today got nothing at all to do with the Essendon supplements saga.
Nothing whatsoever, Bill. I mean, I've been talking to my chairman about this since probably the second half of 2012.
Yep.
As part of, I think, good governance, and he thought too, we should talk about and plan for transition. I think you do that in a professional and mature organisation. In all part of my role, one of my roles is to try and develop succession planning and give the AFL an internal candidate. I think I've done that. Then it's up to them. But I always knew this day was going to come. It was a matter of when, and probably if not for Essendon, it might have been earlier. But I'm glad with the timing, and I was glad I stayed around last year to actually deal with the Essendon issue. It was a complex issue, but I think the timing is right.
Andrew, I'm not sure. I listened with interest when the chairman, Mike Fitzpatrick, said that an executive firm would be employed with regard to your successor. I'm not sure why you'd spend as long as you have as an organisation grooming a man who I think is an exceptional 2IC and will make an exceptional AFL CEO, to not just appoint him. Why wouldn't that happen?
Oh, look, it's probably a question more directed to Mike, but as I said earlier, James, my job is to try and provide an internal candidate. I think I've done that part of it.
Yep.
The job has changed from when I started. It's a much bigger, broader, more scrutinised, more well-remunerated job than it was when I started. So it stands to reason from a governance perspective that the Commission's obligated, particularly the public nature of the role, to make sure that anyone who's out there that thinks that they're capable is given that opportunity. But, as Mike said, Gill's an outstanding candidate. They have to be pretty good to beat him. But, again, that's a decision entirely for the Commission.
How will you be remembered, Andrew? I do a few sporties around the traps, mate, and I get over there to Adelaide and we take questions. And the first one they ask about the footy show and Sam, and then the second one is always, what's Andrew Demetrio like? And I say, I don't know him that well, but he's got a big job, he's doing a great job, and some of the people over there in the country don't agree with me.
Yeah.
What would you say to them, and how would you be remembered?
Look, I honestly don't know how I'll be remembered, other than what I probably would say, probably misunderstood, Bill, which is understandable. I think in public life you've got to act in a certain way, particularly professional and live up to certain standards and expectations, and I think that is absolutely understandable. But
you like a bit of fun too, and you're a bit of a jokester, and you love a punt.
Yes.
And you are probably just one of the boys, aren't you, really?
Well, I said, I think even at today's press conference, one of the things I've loved working with the group I've worked with, particularly on the executive, and James will know some of the guys, we've had lots of fun here. It's a serious business, but I wouldn't have had it any other way. The team have been extraordinarily capable and diligent, but above all, they've been people that have worked with great humour and great fun, and I'd laugh at some of the things that we've had to talk about and deal with, and that's been one of the more pleasurable sides of the business.
Andrew, what is it about Robin Nahas's name that you find so humorous, Brownlow Medal night?
Well, it's not the length of his name.
That's what we want. Hey, just on that, can you say Carlton C. Judd?
Carlton C. Judd.
I'll tell you what he never had to say was Geelong W. Brownless.
No. Well, he might have. Hey, and the other thing you do love is you love your TV shows. Your big one there, and you love your SBS World movies, and we all do.
I love the SBS World movies, particularly the ones, Bill, that are sort of rated R that have got NLSVD.
Those last two letters especially. But Desperate Housewives and...
Real Housewives of New York, Beverly Hills, and now Melbourne, Bill.
Yes, you're going to have a lot more time to watch them, Andrew. As we let you go, is there any job out there that you want, you desperately like to do?
Oh, I like the sound of drive time radio. I tell you what, that'd be something I would look forward to. You can sleep in,
yes,
and you can still get home in time to see your family.
You have to shave a couple of O's off the end of that number, Andrew. That's the only thing. Hey, well done. As Bill said off the top, if the charter of a man at the helm is to leave a place in better shape than he found it, you've definitely achieved that. So got lots to be very proud of. Good luck for the rest of the year.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, James. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, mate.
Tweets are coming in. A lot of people are saying it's great to have you guys back.
Of course they are.
But then we see one from Ash. It says, great to be listening in again. Bring on the bake.
Yeah, well, it's on its way.
Stand by, Ashley.
I've seen the old running sheet, and it's coming. So don't worry. And Bill's had this one baking for a long time.
Now, Willis, to Fox Footy Jim too. They've taken them on board. I know that, but we just give them a bit of love.
Right. And 18 games in 18 games, in 18 days. So they did a great job with that.
And their ads? What about their ads, Jim?
We're not quite sure what's happening.
We'll ask
there.
for a shooter.
We might. Hey, now, Willis. Driving along the other day.
Yes.
And it was a Ford Hig, and I reckon it had between 10 and 15 years attached to it. So I don't know which model Ford that was, Falcon.
Right.
And I'm parked behind it a set of lights, and I saw something that made me chuckle and made me utter the sentence, you know a bloke's old school when he's got a Melways on his back shelf.
Oh, gee whiz.
Bloke. You know the headrest of the passengers in the back? Between that and the back glass, he had an old dirty Melways.
Nice.
Sitting on there. I thought, Bill, how long has it been since I've seen a Melways?
Well, some kids listening to this wouldn't know what you're talking about.
No.
Remember the Melways? You'd pull up at the traffic lights,
That's it.
You'd run to the boot, you'd get it out of the boot, and you'd sit inside and try and find where you're going.
You had no Google Maps on your phone in those days, and certainly no sat-nav.
Oh, TomTom.
No.
No, none of
So
that,
you
Jim.
were stuffed, Bill.
Exactly.
And then you had
through
to,
the back of the book to find the street number.
Street
and
name,
back to the map.
and then you had to hand it to Mrs. B and complain, I don't like reading maps when I'm driving, I get a headache.
The ladies would have to turn them up the way they're actually facing.
Upside down.
Honestly, fair dinkum.
The old Melways,
I said to myself, Willis, you know you're old school when you got a Melways on the back shelf of your Chariot.
I like it, Jim.
You
I was
got an
going to say
example
the
of
phone
someone
number.
being old school, 133353, Bill?
That's it, 133353.
Were you going to ask me what the phone number was?
Well, it's been a while.
Yes, he was. That's what he was going to do.
But you have a go at me, and so does Gary and all that. But
Yep.
I still pay bills with a checkbook.
You
I've
do.
got my own little checkbook, and
You
I
know
write
a
out
man's
the
old school when he's got a checkbook.
When he's got a checkbook, and nothing wrong with that because I keep the butt.
Do you?
And I know where it's gone,
Right.
and I tick it off as I go along. So
You go to the post office to pay your bills too, don't you?
I do.
You don't do anything online.
No, go pay them all at the post office with because I like Barry down there, and we have a good chat.
I like Barry. I ever listen to him. All right, 133353. You know how this works. We're going to the phones, Bill.
Yes.
First time in 2014. Finish this sentence. You know a man's old school, or a woman. Doesn't have to just be a man. You know someone's old school when... Finish the sentence for us. We'll take your calls next. Getting to the phones here. We're wanting you to finish this sentence. You know someone's old school when... And in my case, I was behind a person in an old Falcon who had a Melways on the back shelf. And I thought, I haven't seen a Melways. It's been 5 years since I've seen a Melways, and more than that since I've used one.
Well, I got a text from a mate of mine. He just sent me a photo that he is using a Melways as we speak. And he
Really?
says he's a builder.
He's a bull artist. That's what he is.
He still pays for his timber with checks.
Come on.
Yeah, and uses a Melways every
Good
day.
on him. He writes out a check. Good on him.
Well, Bill.
AJ's there, Jim.
Ed Moorabbin.
Hello, AJ.
Hey, boys. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Great to hear your voice, AJ. You know you're old school when?
You hear a bloke's phone go...
The old ring.
Yeah, the old
phone
Nokia
ring.
ringtone.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly.
And fair enough, AJ. I like that. Bill's got a couple of passes to FedEx, by the way, so you can hand them out whenever you like, Bill.
Thank you, Jim.
Leanne's in Chelsea. Hello, Leanne.
Hi, how you going, boys?
Very nice
Good.
speaking to you. How do you know someone's old school?
When your daughter laughs at you because you think you still have to sleep out to line up for concert tickets and get good ones.
What, instead of
Goes,
getting
no,
them online?
Mum, you just get them online now.
Exactly,
I'm like,
Mum.
Well, mind you, I had a great friend of mine in Perth who went online to get Rolling Stones tickets and could not to any venue.
No, none.
He was prepared to travel.
But they like to sleep out, some people. Like the finals tickets, when it comes, your side gets into the grand final and things. They love sleeping out and just shooting the breeze, Jim. Gary.
Write that down here.
First one for 2014.
That's it.
Gary and Bentley. Go, Gaz.
Hey, Billy. How are you, mate?
Old school, are you?
Bloody oath I am.
Good on you, mate.
How do you know you're old school?
When you listen to Triple M on your old twin cassette radio bloody thing sitting on your beer fridge in your garage.
What, so you put a cassette in it and you've got another one right next door that you could put a cassette in as well?
Of course you have, and you've got the class radio, the old style stuff, which always works.
Oh, no.
None of this digital rubbish.
That's fantastic.
Gazza, you won a couple of tickets here to the FedEx Sport and Fitness Expo this Friday, it is, to Sunday at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre, mate.
Cheers, thanks, Billy.
And
Hang on the line
see
there, Gary.
Danny, the man, the Green Man, Machine Man,
Oh, the Moon
who's
Man.
coming up later on this week with
he
us.
really?
We're looking forward
Yes,
to chatting
he
to
is.
him too. Ryan in Melbourne. Hello, Rhino.
Hi, Bill, Jimmy, what's going on? Welcome back.
Got nothing for you, mate, other than we want to know how you know someone's old school.
You know someone's old school when they roll into a milk bar and ask for a 10-cent block of chocolate.
That still exists?
No.
It happened to the father-in-law. He was driving around. He thought, I wouldn't mind a chocky. He pulled into a milk bar and asked the bloke for a 10-cent block of chocolate.
That's too funny.
And the guy looked at him and goes, been a while since you bought a block of chocolate.
You used to be able to go, my old one, no, delis in Perth, Bill. You used to be able to go, and behind the glass, they had all the lollies.
Oh, yes.
You get the bag.
Yes.
20 cents would get you mix. I'd go for a cobbler.
Or cobbler.
I'd go for a cobbler.
The old mates.
No.
Yes.
The mates were great, weren't they?
Beautiful.
You need a couple while you're filling up the bag.
That's it. Willis and Vanessa from Emerald, Bill.
Hello, Ness.
hello there, Billy and JB. How are you?
Oh, how are you? How's your summer been, Dale? All right?
Oh, not too bad, thanks. You and yourself?
Oh, mate, we're beautiful. Ready to go.
Good question for Bill. He's done bugger all. Now, Vanessa, how do you know someone's old school?
Oh, when they've got manners. When they use their manners.
Oh,
That is true.
yes.
Yep.
And what do you give us an example, Vanessa?
Well, you know, you're at the supermarket and someone's phone rings, they're being served and they answer their phone.
Yes.
Or, you know, the people at the checkout are talking to one another and not talking to the customers.
Oh, she's not happy with the supermarket.
Hey, Ness, I'll give you an example, right? My 6-year-old Freddie was in the lift with me yesterday.
Yes.
With another lady in the lift and George.
Oh, no. What did he
Anyway,
say?
the lift door opens and Freddie
Bowls out.
bowls out.
Yep.
And I grabbed him and I said, hey, you wait till this beautiful lady goes first and then you go next.
Late.
That's right.
And he said, is this what he said to me, Vanessa? He said, who came up with that rule?
The cheeky bugger.
That's exactly what he said.
Must
How
have
do you
been
explain that?
Handy type, was she, Jim?
Nice enough. Nice enough. Hey, Vanessa, can go to the FedEx.
Oh, yes, Vanessa.
Couple of tickets there.
You'd be pretty fit, wouldn't you?
Oh, yes.
Might be carrying a bit.
As fit as Billy, I think.
Oh, come on, Ness.
Well, you can go down and have a look at some fit people down there at the FedEx Sport and Fitness Expo this Friday to Sunday, mate, down at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre.
Thank you very much.
Stay on the line, Vanessa. Well, very nice chatting to everyone. Oh, now, Hig.
Yes.
What do we got here?
We've got we've got the bake coming up not too far away.
Oh, Jimmy.
Look out.
Stand by.
Don't leave your car is all as I'm saying.
Have you got the dump button?
Triple M advises the following segment may contain coarse language, adult themes, and excessive yelling. Kids in cars, you've been warned.
No, just come on, bro.
Oh, Jimmy.
It's time for the big bloke to explode. This is Billy's Bake.
All right, let me at him, Jimmy.
Come on.
Jim.
Yes.
I've been sitting on this bake for a good 2.5 months. 2.5 months, Jim!
I heard you, Bill.
No one asked you to speak, Jim. I swear I'll insert this pen in your eye. If you interrupt me again, you little dweep! Never in the history of sport has a team laid down and been more pathetic, more insipid, more non-competitive, and more scared than the English cricket team, Jim. Wait. Fair dinkum, Jim. They get off the plane with more swagger than Muhammad Ali. And we're hopeless. Never fired a shot, Jim. And I've got a memo for Swan and Pryor and Anderson.
What's that?
Sack. Smug turds. As for Stuart Broad, Jimmy boy.
Oh, yes.
Won't walk when he's facing Ashton Agar.
Yes.
Suddenly Mitchie Johnson's whistling through at 155 clicks.
Yes.
The can't get off the ground quick enough. Fair dinkum, Jim. It's like I always say.
Oh, what is that?
Pride always comes before a fall.
Yes.
And we've won the Ashes, so suck on that, you pommy Fraidy cats, Jim. Fraidy cats. That's what they are. Weak as piss. WAP. Weak as piss, Jim. 13 games, and they lost 12 of them. Suffer in your jocks. Go and have a shower. Use some soap.
Stop, Bill.
Off.
No more.
Just a last little drive-by.
Stop him from talking.
Oh, they're weak as piss. Fair to go.
Twitter at TripleM Rush Hour has blown up after the bake. Glenn says best bake of the year so far.
Thank
Good
you,
one, Glenn.
Very
Nice,
good.
nice
Classic
thing,
bake. William got tears streaming down my face. Haven't laughed that hard in ages. Michael says best bake ever. Bake Gold. When's it going to be online? Hang around because it will be on the Triple M page at triplem.com.au very, very soon.
A Dallas Buyers Club, Matthew McConaughey is the Oscar winner for Best Actor in Hollywood. And the
bigger news, Jim.
Actress.
Best actress, Kate Blanchett.
Yes.
Good work, Katie. Our girl.
Our girl.
Our girl, Kate, Blue Jasmine. Haven't seen it myself.
Woody Allen film.
Yeah.
I haven't either, but she is an unbelievable actress. Or they're not called actresses anymore.
They just take actor, don't they?
Actor. So female actor and male actor.
Righto,
Yes. So she's an unbelievable actor, and congratulations to her. But what about Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah.
He was doing bit parts in rubbish, off Broadway sort of spoofs almost 10 years ago.
Spoofs.
And he has got himself back to being at the sharp end of this caper. So
I never
well
thought
done.
I'd see the day that he would get an Oscar for Best Actor.
No, either. But good on him. Anyway, but much better on Kate Blanchett.
Oh, well done, Katie girl.
Our girl.
Fantastic.
Friend
Our
of Bill's
girl.
and mine.
Yeah, Rush Hour's very own.
There we go.
Exactly
That's what we like to hear.
Listening to the Rush Hour. I feel good.
Everyone feels good because we're back on the air, the number one show, of course, across Melbourne, this magnificent city, 3.5 million people, all dominators everywhere.
Yep.
And I'll tell you in this second hour, we're going to speak to Damien Barrett very, very shortly. And then Mark Rasciuto, Bill's got a phone topic he's brought to the table, brought to the meeting, which always concerns us when one comes in. And we like how he sets them up and then asks the question and we see who rings.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
That's how it works.
We're also going to tell you what we've been doing in the off-season. So all of that's still to come, second hour of the Rush Hour, very nice. Now, today, Willis.
Yep.
Andrew Demetriou, CEO of the AFL, has told us that at the end of the year, he is going to end his 10-year reign at the top. What does this mean to the game of AFL football?
You asking me?
Well, no, I'm not Bill, funnily enough.
Oh.
We're going to an expert. Damien Barrett, award-winning superstar who dominated this area last year to the point where second was that far back no one could see him. In fact, at the Media Awards...
Wasn't in the photo, Jim.
Bill, in the Media Awards, they ended up giving them to other people because they forgot how far out in front he was. They just forgot he was even running in the race. Hello, Purple.
Hello, boys. Good to have you back.
Hey, very nice to be
Nice
back,
to
Purple. Now, what does it mean today? What does this announcement mean? Were you surprised? Tell us what your thoughts.
Surprised at the timing of it, not surprised that it is what it is, and that is that Andrew Demetrio won't be AFL CEO at the end of this season. That to me was always the time frame, even before the Essendon situation that broke last year. We know that's going to be 11 full seasons of football, and we do know that even before the Essendon situation broke, Andrew Demetrio had talked about potentially this being the year. So in that regard, no one's really surprised. But yeah, the timing of it, maybe it's just because Andrew Demetrio wants to be able to look the club CEOs and chairman tomorrow and later on this week in Adelaide when they have their season launch and just say, look, this is what I'm going to do. And it could well be as simple as that for the timing. But Mike Fitzpatrick has already had a head-hunting firm based in Sydney looking at this scenario on behalf of the AFL Commission for some time. So, I reckon it's a time for change too. As much as I believe Gillon McLachlan would be more than capable of doing it and would be very good at doing it, I just feel now that with what's gone on with the Melbourne saga, the Essendon saga, and that Gillon is clearly aligned with Andrew, whether he likes it or not, that it might just be a time for the Commission to bring someone cold out of the football system into the position of CEO.
Yeah, I think you're right, Damo. For a while there, I think it was a fait accompli, which means it was it was all done and dusted.
Written down. Yes,
but I'm with you. I think there might have to be a new voice, new eyes, and just it's been tainted, unfortunately, Gil, hasn't he?
Yeah, but through association.
Yeah, that's right.
It has not been a good. I'd say 18 months for the AFL. The AFL saga when it came down to the tanking situation that was not a good look. That to me was the first time under Andrew Demetrio's watch that the AFL didn't get the messaging right. We know now that they stuffed up what happened at Essendon, and I feel sorry for them in a way because it's not their fault. Now Andrew Demetrio made a really, really good point today at the closing press conference that he wasn't the person who injected Essendon players, and that's where all this started, and that's where we're still at with this whole story. But look, it hasn't been good messaging out of Andrew Demetrio's office now for some time, and that's why. And as you say, Bill, the timing is probably not ideal for Gillon.
Well, I don't agree, by the way. I think Gill would make an outstanding AFL CEO.
I agree with that too, JB. But I just don't think he's going to have the front running or the clean running that he might have otherwise got.
Well, maybe that's true, but I still think they'll end up with him, and he will do a fantastic job. And I don't know why you'd bugger eyes around. Just announce it and get on with it would be my view. But what I want to ask you is this, Purple, and you know better than anyone that Andrew and I have had significant run-ins over the stretch, so we're not on each other's mailing list, but I do have great respect for what he's achieved. Let's look at his body of work over 10 years, not over the last 18 months. This is what we need to do.
Yeah, and that's what we need to do, I think, just out of respect to him and the AFL. I mean, if you remove the last 18 months, it's extraordinary. I would say it's A+, but you factor in the last 18 months and it probably comes down to a B+ or an A, and that's unfortunate for him. But look, the growth of the game, I've still got reservations about what they're doing in GWS, but I understand why they're doing it, and I get it. So that's going to be his legacy one way or another. What he also did, when he took over, it was a very strong competition, but he's made it the absolutely dominant competition in the country, and one that it can't lose that mantle now. I mean, not in the next 10 to 15 years. It is going to be the dominant competition and will continue to be so.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The expansion, the game's in good shape, the TV rights, Adelaide Oval, which he said.
The stadiums, I think, will be his overriding legacy.
Well, he actually said that, didn't he? The Adelaide Oval was, but also a couple of failures there, I suppose, and calling Sydney ugly, and then they went on to win the premiership. But also to Jim, as you said before, Jimmy Boy, he tried to ship North Melbourne off to the Gold Coast. So is he a friend of North Melbourne, Jim?
More now than then.
Yeah.
There was some pretty horrendous years, Willis, where we didn't see eye to eye at all. But the thing I said about Andrew, I think Purple would remind me a year ago, what he did was he said, if you get your house in order, we'll support you, and he has.
Right.
So I can't be critical of that. And I think we need to take that 10-year view, Purple, and say that this bloke has been unbelievable in jettisoning football above rugby league, rugby union, soccer, every other code, to the point where it is now miles out in front.
Yeah, he does, and it's probably not a bad time to get out of it if he's to be totally selfish about, I suppose, his own involvement in it. I mean, this is going to be a tough period with this equalisation debate. It's a really tough time with clubs and the amount of debt they are carrying. There's going to be ugly financial stories coming in the next few years. And he's been down that path. And look, it's a good time for him. It's a good time for the competition to actually, I suppose, remove themselves from each other, because I don't think he could do too much more. And I think he's done more than enough for the game to actually very comfortably tonight sit back over a bottle of red and say, I've done pretty well.
All right, Purple, look forward to your company on Wednesday. You're going to be joined by Campbell Brown, if you don't mind,
Whoa,
for the first midweek rub. So get your questions ready for that, young man. We'll see you then.
I'll see you then, boys.
Damien Barrett, superstar.
Nice finish, Damo.
Newsbreaker extraordinaire. All right. And a couple of entries for the idiot file already.
Yep.
The second hour hasn't started well for Bill.
No.
You reckon the first hour was good? Welcome back, Jim.
Thank you, Bill.
Watching the cricket last night, and well done to Michael Clarke.
Brilliant.
That's probably his best 100. Would you agree?
Well, he made 150 at this same ground, 4 years ago or 3 years ago, when we were bowled out for 40 in the next innings. So that was a reasonable 100. But I agree, it was an unbelievable performance. And David Warner, prior to that, after the week he'd had, where he'd clipped everyone, hadn't missed a single person in the whole week, comes out and makes a magnificent 100. So it's been a very good performance.
So that's what you like about Warner.
Yep.
He talks the talk, but he also finishes. Walks the walk, Jim. Now, we're watching it last night.
Have you got any room in that bit of paper?
We're watching the cricket last night. Fantastic. Clarke is on 139.
Yes.
The cameraman goes up to the room.
Australia viewing area.
The viewing area, the dugout up there.
Yes.
And there is Mitch Johnson, Davey Warner.
Rhino Harris.
And in the back seat, Shane Warne, sound asleep. Dead to the world he was. Dead to the world.
How good.
And Warner loved it. He started smiling.
Yep.
And then Warney woke up. He obviously had a big night, Jimmy.
Someone might have prodded him and said, "You're on."
And then what was good, it actually went to the big screen on the ground. And Michael Clarke's batting. He saw it on the screen.
That's it.
And Clarke had a laugh and shook his head.
Bill. Fair dinkum.
So that was great. I love that. And isn't it good to see Shane Warne in an Australian T-shirt again, back with
in the rooms.
Great. Great appointment, Buff.
Oh, well, that's exactly. That's old wobble guts, bringing people back into the fold that need to be around the team.
That's right.
But, Bill, where's it led us, this particular observation of yours?
Hence, Jim. How we got a phoner, 133353. Get on the line now and tell us, where have you fallen asleep? Unusual. We could have put a bit more in.
5 months off.
What do you mean? What's this wee?
5 months off. And that's the best you can come up with.
When have you fallen asleep? Unusual. Not bad. That good topic, Bill.
I tell you now. Ring us, and you could be in the running for tickets to the Grand Prix, Hig.
Yes, that's right. The 2014 Formula One Rolex Australian Grand Prix, 13th to the 16th of March. Wow, Bill.
Have you ever fallen asleep on air?
No, never.
You should listen to yourself sometimes.
Ring us now, 133353, and answer this very sophisticated question from Bill Brownless.
When have you fallen asleep? Unusual. When have you fallen asleep? Unusual, because the great Shane Warne last night up there with the boys in the not the commentary box, in the viewing area for the Australian cricket team,
rooms,
and fell asleep while Clarkey and Watson are actually scoring some nice runs.
He's not as young as he used to be, Bill, and probably had a bit of a lookout the night before.
Do you think? Well, he's single now.
Of course, he's single. He does what he likes. And
would he have any numbers?
Well, I would imagine he would have had a very nice meal somewhere, and just sort of once you've got the team prepared and they're out playing, Willis, you can nod off.
And he did, and he got caught on camera.
Just got one on Twitter here. You can find us at TripleM Rush Hour. Adam says, did fall asleep during last year's F1 Grand Prix. Good effort considering no hearing protection.
Yeah, that is a good effort.
Simon off Facebook says, I fell asleep on the front door of a nightclub. I was the doorman at.
Well, I have told you this story before, and that is that I went to the Rolling Stones concert at Footy Park. The first time they came out, I think it was mid-90s, about 94, and these two blokes in front of me were asleep the whole way through.
They did not.
Before they got on stage, they were asleep, and when they left the stage, Bill, they were still asleep.
Paid good money
for
the ticket?
They would have paid good money, Willis, but they were that poleaxe, they slept the whole way through. Matty from Frankston. Hello, Matty.
Matty.
Yeah, boys, how are we?
Good, champ. When have you fallen asleep?
On Friday, just been. I fell asleep at work.
Oh, what do you do?
I'm a landscaper. I fell asleep behind a tree.
Oh, no.
Oh, what? You'd had a big night, Matthew?
Spot on Thursday night. Got on the sauce with the boys, and that was the end of me.
Whoever garden it was would have been grateful for the hard work you were putting in, Matty.
Yeah, well, not really. It was pretty basic stuff. But the boss tapped me on the shoulder 4 hours later and said, "Oi, what are you doing?"
4 hours?
4 hours later, he taps me on the shoulder and he goes, "Yep, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Not much." He goes, "Yep, go home. See you later. Don't bother coming back on Monday."
Oh, that was it.
Don't come back.
Sayonara.
No, don't come back.
Gee whiz.
Justin's
He wasn't in Mount Monaro.
Justin in Melton. Hello, Justin.
Justin.
G'day, boys. How we going?
When have you fallen asleep unusual?
In court, in the jury box.
Oh, no.
Wow.
You're a juror?
Woke up with the defence lawyer staring at me, only to hear him say, "Judge, I wonder if we might have a short recess so our jurors can catch their thoughts and open their eyes."
Oh, well, that's not a good thing, I wouldn't have thought.
Wasn't good. We smiled and he nodded at me, so I gave him a wink and said, "Thank you very much," and off we went for refreshment.
Good work. I like that one. You've won a 4-day grandstand pass to the Formula One Rolex Australian Grand Prix. That'd be good. You like that, Just?
Sensational, boys. Thank you very much.
Tickets at grandprix.com.au.
That's it.
Hang on
Tickets
the
at
line,
grandprix.com.au. Hang on the line, Justin. Sean in Bendigo.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Good, champ. Falling asleep?
One day cricket game for about 20 overs, Australia and India. So I was going about 2 runs and over, got bored shitless, so I had a snooze in bay 13.
Back in the old day when Booney and Swampy Marsh used to open the batting.
Unfortunately, that was only a few years ago.
Oh, really? Because it tends to be a bit more exciting these days. Shawnee boy?
I was fairly well stuffed from the night before, we'll admit.
Couple of frothies?
Just a few, Bill.
And how long did you sleep for?
About 20 overs.
20 overs.
I woke up and the run rate picked up, so I missed the boring bit.
Good work.
Well done. Carissa's in Churnside Heights. Hello, Carissa.
Hey, guys. How you going?
When have you fallen asleep unusual? I like the great Shane Warne.
My Year 12 VC exam.
Oh, jeez. No. Were you snoring?
No, thankfully my head was down. Looked like I was really concentrating, so it didn't get busted too bad.
Now, had you finished, Carissa, and it was all right to fall asleep, or did we wake up and you had plenty still to do?
I woke up with just enough time to write the end of it, which just passed me.
Oh, jeez. Not a good time to fall asleep.
I wouldn't have thought,
No, that's what happened to me, Jim.
Well, that's the whole point of the phone here, Bill. When have you fallen asleep unusual?
Yeah, but that's what happened to Bill. What, during the exam or during
As
the
I
3
wrote
years?
down Bill Brownless, and that was it, Jim. I didn't answer any of the questions.
During the last 3 years of your whole schooling, Bill, which bit did you fall asleep for? Justin's in Mentone, Willis.
Yes, Just?
G'day, guys. How's it going?
Yeah, good, mate.
Mate, very recently I worked for a vet supercar team in the pit crew.
Oh.
And, it's not uncommon to not off at a race.
At the race?
Yeah.
You don't put on the wheels or anything, do you?
Yeah, I used to do the wheels. No, I left of my own accord, but you got to think, the hours you do, you knock off 4 in the morning, you wake up, you got your helmet on, cars are buzzing around the track, you're sitting there.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon to see a couple of guys get the nods up mid-race. So.
I'm not sure, Bill, if you're a race car driver.
Yeah.
Like if you're our man, Davey Reynolds.
Yes.
And you pull into the pits to get your tyres changed and one of your boys is asleep, that would be ideal.
No, not at all. And Justin used to work there, but no, but he'd like to go to the Australian Grand Prix, thanks to
We've only
Rolex.
had one double to give away. You've already given that away, Bill.
That's why I said he'd like to
like
go,
to,
but he's
but
not. Poor old Justin's not going.
Bill got a good 18 minutes in today, I reckon, didn't he?
That's about it.
And after 18 minutes, that's pretty much him for the rest of the year.
Wenger had a cup yesterday, Jim.
Right.
Football royalty in the house in the form of Mark Rasciuto, Brownlow medalist, 8-time All-Australian. I'll tell you what, Willis, there's not much the man hasn't done. Great friend of ours on the rush hour, and it's nice to have him in. Hello, Roo.
G'day, boys. Back to work. How are you feeling first up?
Actually, I'm stuffed. I've had enough, Roo boy, but great to have you. Hey, the NAB Challenge, just on that, great sponsors of ours, by the way, Jimmy boy.
Absolutely.
What did you think? I didn't mind it, to be honest. I like seeing games in Wagga Wagga and Alice Springs and, getting the football out to the punters.
Yeah, it's been everywhere, hasn't it? And it has been good. I think the format's not too bad. It's the same as a season in terms of the length of quarters, and they only really need to play 3 games. So I think they're on a bit of a winner. Certainly the players and the coaches like it. The fans probably tune in and out a bit at this time of year, but they get a bit of a taste for round 1.
6 on the bench is the only internal questioning I heard, because it makes it very hard for you to get game time into the players you want to, because you just got to keep getting rotations, when you don't want them. So that was the only query I heard about the rule structure. Everything else I think worked really well. And what I loved about it, Roo, was that clubs again started playing their kids. For a long time, when we had the old format, you just kept seeing the same team you'd seen in round 22 the year before. But now the young ones who haven't had much of a crack were exposed to the big time.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were, that was probably in round one of the NAB Challenge. So fans got to see them, the kids got to have a game, and they'll be schooled up, ready to go at the start of the season. So I think all in all, it's been a good preparation for the start of the year.
Do we read anything into it that maybe there might be improvement from your mob, Adelaide and the West Coast Eagles?
Oh, I think certainly Adelaide I've got a close eye on. They're a lot fitter than what they were last year. They didn't have a big pre-season last year, and I think that affected them all year. So I think Adelaide will be back to more like 2012, where they got in the top four. Not saying they will be top four because they had a good draw that year as well, but they'll be pushing for the top eight. And West Coast Eagles, who had a lot of injuries last year, a lot of people said they'd win the flag last year. I think they can push for the finals as well.
Hey, Jimmy, Simo, isn't he good?
Very good.
Doing a very good job.
Good recruit.
Yeah,
good
recruit. Good man, Adam Simpson.
They love him, mate, and they're playing for him. Just all that, it's been great. But the Fox Footy ad.
What is going on?
Piggy Dunstall doing up there, floating around as an angel?
He couldn't float. He's too heavy to float up there. Those wings must be doing an almighty
making a tool of himself.
Didn't Dermot love it?
Dermot's
there. He loved it.
Ed's God. Ed's playing God. Well, Ed was playing himself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Sandy, my hat, Sandy Roberts.
Well, that's what happens when you give creative people a bit too much rope. But it's got the Fox Footy launch tonight, actually, boys, in Melbourne. So and then the AFL launch on Wednesday night. It's the week
in
of
Adelaide,
launches.
actually. The circus rolls over to Adelaide. Speaking of which, the Adelaide Oval. Now, this is a place close to my heart, Roo. Of course, you remember me dominating there.
You've got a toilet named after you there.
If you wander into
members.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I wondered what it was. But it is. I went there for the test match, and it will be, once finished, and it's got to be pretty close, the most extraordinary footy venue almost of them all.
Yeah, well, they've travelled the world to find out what to do and what not to do. So if they, I don't think they've got it wrong at all. In fact, we know it's going to be sensational, and I think Andrew Demetriou said it's one of his greatest achievements on resignation today was to get footy back to Adelaide Oval.
Well, and get the SANFL back with cricket and reunite what's been a bitter sort of 40-year divide over there. So I agree with that. I think that's been a great...
Is it going to be finished? It's never finished.
Well, that's because it's not supposed to be finished until...
Round 2.
It was supposed to be finished for the cricket, no go.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was always going to have 30-odd thousand.
No, and now I was just there recently.
I know you were. You've been getting a hell of a lot of money.
You've been to Wyella? It's not the end of the world, but geez, you can see it.
Was that some immaterial bill when you're up?
But it still wasn't finished. I wanted to go and have a look at the Shield cricket was going on. The Vicks were playing. That bridge was closed.
Yep.
I think it's gone.
It's always been due to be right for round one. They got the Rolling Stones to open it up. The Shield final, if they happen to get into it, is actually going to be down at Glenelg.
Likely to get into it.
Yeah, mate, big chance. And anyway, they've got a $535 million renovation.
A Mark Rasciuto stand or end, or you would have thought
the name went up, Bill. You'd be very happy.
Better be a bar.
No, I did whinge because Graham Corns has got a bar and he doesn't drink. So
that's
the point of that. I asked him if he'd swap.
So what have you got?
A stand.
Mark Rasciuto stand.
I'm up with Don Bradman.
Don Bradman, Mark Rasciuto.
Is Rocco there? I was over in Adelaide Gym.
Hey, Bill, what about congratulations, Roo, on having a stand named after you?
No. Oh, well done.
Yeah. But
thank you, Bill. Well done on having a stand. But I was over in Adelaide. And there's something else we've got to congratulate him on, Jim.
Yes.
Well, over the summer.
Yes. Yeah.
I rang him up and said, we're having a beer today. He said, bloody hope, get down to the Elmer. And we went down there. He had another boy. His fifth child.
Yeah.
And guess what he's called?
What?
Rocco. Rasciuto.
He's a little wog boy. You have to be tough to live up to that name. But thanks for coming down and sharing that special day too, Bill.
Free drinks, mate. I'll turn up anywhere.
He had 15 pots and then went and did a sporty at Virginia that night. So he was
Bill, normally when mates of ours have 5 kids, we ask the question whether they actually know what causes it.
Exactly.
But I think in Roo's case, he knows what causes it.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
And we love it.
And the old man was there. Guess what his name is, Jim?
What?
Rocco.
Mario's his name.
Oh, I was calling him Rocco.
Stumps, Roo, have you drawn stumps, or surely you're not having 6?
The wife's keen for another one. Jeez, there's something wrong with it.
All right. Well, we look forward all year to catching up with you, Rashut. You're a bloody superstar. Enjoy the Fox launch tonight.
Yes.
And everything that's coming up.
Good on you, boys.
Hey, what have you been up to, please? Because we haven't seen much of each other. What have you been doing?
Well, we went to New York.
Well, that was in November. Jeez, we had a good time.
Well,
there.
they're very nice over there.
How many nights in
Too good a time.
How long?
7 nights there.
A bit longer we were, actually.
well,
We were nearly 10.
Hutchie looked after us, and his mate Troy Boy over there, and had a lovely time. And the
yeah,
loin
too
chop
good a
come
time.
over.
He did go over.
I'll tell you what he's good at. Karaoke.
He does. Loves to get the microphone
What was
and
his
belt
song
out
of
a tune.
choice? Do you
His
remember?
song of choice was the one he did on the footy show.
Yeah.
Shot down in a blaze of glory.
And he
It's
still
hilarious.
can't sing.
We had a very good fun time over there. Probably too good a fun,
Yeah,
actually.
exactly. It was very good. And then I went to the test match in Adelaide with you.
I didn't see you hardly, though, because you were out there working the people.
Jeff Thompson and myself. I've got a nice little relationship with Jeff Thompson at the minute. The old 2-up. And then I went to the test match in Perth.
You did?
With you.
We didn't see you at all
I was
over there.
following you around.
You
and
were?
then went to the test match here in Melbourne. So I watched a bit of cricket, and it was very good trying to catch some balls at lunchtime.
What
there
happened
one day.
there, Bill? You're out in the middle, Slats and Bingley hitting the high balls out of the bowling machine.
Bowling machine.
The first one, you're allowed to just get underneath it and catch it. It's just a high drop.
Yeah.
I reckon you stood ready to catch it and it landed 10 metres away from you.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't caught a ball like that,
But
Jim,
Bill,
for
how hard
20
is it?
years.
If you got under it and dropped it, I'd understand, but you got nowhere near
Well,
it.
did you see the second one? I dropped it. I got my hands to it.
Did you?
Hit me in the shoulder.
So, Bill, let me tell you this much. You embarrassed all of us
I
on
know.
that day.
And the texts I got after it, there was a lot of embarrassed blokes there, and they gave it. And even Chief was up in Queensland watching it, and he gave
it to you.
Speaking of cricket, how did you enjoy the cricket with Slats and all your good mates, the heels, and dressing up as... What were you one day?
Woody, I think he was dressed up
Woody.
as Toy Story.
Fitted in like a finger in a bum, Bill. Let's be brutally honest. But hey, I want to say this. I went down to our beach houses down the coast, and it was close enough to catch up with our great mate Rude Rod from Warrnambool, the boxing coach.
Boxing coach,
Went
yes.
and did a couple of sessions with him.
You did.
He said a good 6 months and you're ready to go, Bill. Bill,
You started boxing last year.
Bill, and I'm into it.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I was slapping the pads that hard. Rude, I was driving him back.
Rodney Rude.
Bill,
Jim.
I was driving Rude Rod back.
They would be powder puffs.
I'm telling you right now, slapping they were. Bang, 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 bang.
Wet lettuce.
We might have a fight, actually.
Bang, 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 bang. No, I'm not fighting, Bill.
I'm fighting you.
No, you're not.
I am going
I'll
to
tell
take
you why
on.
you're not.
Why?
Because I'm never fighting anyone in my life. That's my stated aim. If I live to be 90, Bill, I want to go out horizontal having not fought anyone.
The rush hour
You got a joke?
champion.
Have you got a joke?
Yeah.
All right, we'll
You
get ready.
boxing. But fair dinkum,
we need to do that next.
3 rounds.
No, Bill, there's no boxing happening between you
I'll
and
just
I.
stick and jab.
Just get yourself a joke. We're going to do that next. All right, now, Bill.
Yes.
Been a nice show, so we finish it off with a real good joke that you've got ready for us.
Ready to go, Jimmy.
First
boy.
one of the
months in
year.
the making.
That's
4
it.
months in
That's
the
it.
making.
So he would have picked out his best one.
A lovely blonde lady heard that if you bath in milk, it makes you beautiful, Jim, right?
Yes.
So she left a note for a milkman, Dave, to leave 50 litres of milk. When the milkman read the note, he thought must be a mistake here. So Dave, who thought must have wanted only 2 litres, he knocked on the door just to clarify the point, Jim.
Yes.
The blonde came to the door, and the milkman said, I found your note asking me to leave 50 litres of milk. Don't you mean 2? No, said the lovely blonde. I want 50 litres of milk. I'm going to fill my bathtub up with milk and take a milk bath so I can look beautiful and young again. David, the milkman, asked, Do you want it pasteurised? The blonde said, no, just fill it up to my boobs and then I'll splash it in my eyes. Do you want it pasteurised?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
We couldn't have got off to a worse start.
Oh, wow.
Is that the best joke you've heard this year?
I think if you tried to come up with a worse joke to start off the year, Bill, you couldn't have done a better job. It's just appalling.
It's not my fault you can't get it.
Not only a really bad joke, but appallingly told.
Oh, terribly told.
Yeah. So things haven't improved there.
I've only had 4 months to practice one joke.
Poor
Did you
old
understand the main
Yeah, I
word?
got the joke, mate. Yeah.
Poor Plastic has been stuck in the desk for 4 months, hoping he doesn't have to come out again.
Sure enough.
First show, we need to drag him in. Come on, Bill.
Sampling Boomwa.
Smarten it up.
Pasteurised, Jim. Boom, wah, 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 wah. Do you want it pasteurised? Sampling Boomwa.
No.
Triple M's Rush Hour podcast was brought to you by Fox Footy, only on Foxtel.